Alright, yeah, welcome back to some more Magic Arena Mana Burn. This is the series where we play decks that are so bad that they're good, but then they become really bad and go back around again to become good. And today is the release of Kaladesh Remastered, so we've got a couple new tools, and we're going to be revisiting a very popular combo on the channel, one that I imagine a lot of new people onto the channel have not seen before, even though this will be, I think, the third iteration of this list. But prior to the first playthrough of it, we were missing a few cards. We've now got every card that we need to make this bad deck playable. So we're going to do it. Today we're going to be playing some Mono Green Storm, also known as Marwyn Storm. So this is a combo built around the 3-mana elf 1/1. Whenever an elf enters the battlefield under your control, you put a 1/1 counter on Marwyn the Nurturer, and then you can tap Marwyn to add an amount of green equal to Marwyn's power. So the idea of this deck is that we're going to be generating a ton of mana off of Marwyn. So we're going to be using that, doing that through pump spells and untap spells. So got a fair few of them in the deck. Gift of Growth, Blossoming Defense, new to Kaladesh Remastered, Ornamental Courage, Stony Strength, Sudden Spinnerets, and to a certain extent as well, Llanowar Elves, which will give a +1/+1 counter to Marwyn when it enters. So it's a really nice turn 1 or even turn 4 play. But yes, we're going to be using untap effects, so we're going to be tapping Marwyn to add green, and then we're going to be using any one of these wonderful little spells to untap her, pump her up, and then we get to tap her again for extra mana. So I'm not going to go into too much detail, but Ornamental Courage, Stony Strength, and Sudden Spinnerets are all functionally the same card as far as this combo is concerned. So they're going to give +1 plus something and untap Marwyn. So that's pretty much what these three are going to do. Gift of Growth is slightly better, but much more expensive. For 2 mana, you get to untap it and give it +2/+2 until the end of the turn. But if you do it with Kicker, then you get +4/+4, and an untap, which is very good. Probably should have this as a 4 of, but in today's video, we don't have that. And as we mentioned as well, in Kaladesh Remastered, we got our access to Blossoming Defense, a lovely creature protection spell, giving +2/+2 and Hexproof, which means we can play Marwyn on turn 4 with protection, and then hopefully the turn after go off and win the game. So this is a turn 4, turn 5 combo, which allows us to draw our entire deck. We haven't really gone into what we're going to be doing with all the excess mana, which is several things. We're either going to be going for a very large Finale of Devastation. If we go X10 on the Finale, all of our creatures get +X and haste until the end of the turn. So we're going to X10 out something like an Endraze Foreigners, which gives +2/+2 Vigilance and Trample until the end of the turn, as well as being a Vigilant, Trampling, 7/7 hasting creature itself. We are also going to be drawing most of our deck. Kaladesh Remastered gave us Rishkar's Expertise, a card that has since been missing up until this point. His 6-mana sorcery says draw cards equal to the greatest power among creatures you control. So Marwyn's going to be getting quite large. Hopefully we're going to be using Rishkar's Expertise to draw 5 or 6 cards. That's going to be hopefully what we're going to do. And then we can also cast a spell with converting mana cost 5 or less from our hand without paying its mana cost. So if we've got exactly 6 mana, we can go for a Rishkar's Expertise, drawing several cards, and then we can use the free cast to do something like Gift of Growth or Sudden Spinnerets, something to untap Marwyn and allow us to then use extra mana. Also perfectly lines up with Return of the Wild Speaker as well. Since we can cast a 5-drop, we can Return of the Wild Speaker and draw cards equal to the greatest power among non-human creatures you control. Again, going to be Marwyn. These are functionally going to act as the same card, although they have different ups and downs to them. This one being slightly more expensive, but it has a free cast on it. This one has a pump spell on it as well, which is a way that we can use this card after we're done drawing every card in our deck. But yeah, that's essentially what we're going to be doing. We do have Balaged Recoveries and Turn Timber Symbiosis as a little bit of protection for our combo. So Turn Timber Symbiosis can look at the top 7 cards of our library to dig for Marwyn, or it could be used to dig for the Endraze Foreigners as well if we have everything we need. If it's converted mana cost 3 or less, then it gets +1/+1 counters on it, so Marwyn becomes a 4/4 when it hits the battlefield. It's one of those panic buttons, and it's also a land, so it's kind of free to add to our deck, so we might as well. Otherwise, Probably not going to be using the symbiosis side of this card very often, but it's just there in case we need it. And then Balaged Recovery is another double-faced land sorcery, allowing us to return a card from our graveyard to our hand. So we can use this to grab an untapped spell, we can use this to grab card draw, or our win con if we've used Finale to grab something else in the past. Sometimes you will Finale X1 to grab a Llanowar Elves, just to have that extra mana to go off later down the line. But yeah, that's essentially it. We do have Adventurous Impulse, allows us to get a creature or a land off the top 3. So that's going to be either Llanowar Elves, Marwyn, Endrez Foreigners, or a land, any of our 16 lands essentially. So it's just another way that we can find our Marwyn if we absolutely need to. But yeah, that's essentially the deck. It is an absolute blast to play, but I will state very strongly that this deck is trash. It is a little bit too slow for most of the things in the format. It can just about keep up with Marvel, which is a brand new deck from Kaladesh Remastered that's hitting the field. That one will go off on turn 4, and potentially Ugin or Ulamogyu. I'm looking forward to that no longer existing in Arena, but considering Muxus is a turn 3 combo, I think turn 4 Marvel is unlikely to go anywhere, since apparently Muxus is fine. But yes, if you do enjoy the content, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. It helps out the channel a great deal, lets me know what kind of content you're interested in seeing, and let's continue forward, shall we? This video is brought to you by the generous support of our wonderful patrons and channel members that you see here. If you'd like to support the channel and get access to cool content like sneak peeks, bonus videos, polls on future content, or access to a personal deck critique from myself every month, then hit the join button down below, or check out the Patreon link in the description. With all that said, let's get into the gameplay. Okay, we're in. We've got Marwyn, we've got an untap, so we literally just need a Rishkar's Expertise or a Return of the Wild Speaker, and then we're good to go off. It all depends on what our opponent does, of course, as to whether or not we can even win, but that's the nature of Mana Burn, isn't it? Just play a deck that probably loses 90% of the time and have fun with it. We don't need Endrez Foreigners. Happy to have that at the bottom of my deck, actually. So we'll just grab a forest and pass. Please don't be blue tempo. Glintnest Crane. Okay. Alright. And an Aetherflux Reservoir. Depending on how slowly they get that down, it may or may not be a problem. Because we can pump out a lot of damage with this deck. We don't want to see, like, Metallic Rebukes and other counterspells from them, I suppose, but we do have a spare Marwyn anyway if they do want to go ahead and counter something. So there's Glintnest Crane coming down again for a Guardian Idol. Really curious to see what... Oh, baby. Does that mean we win next turn? Probably not. I wouldn't have thought. I could do with a little bit more power on Marwyn, for example. But it looks like we might have time. So do you go Reservoir here, or do you want to play it when you can combo? They could be afraid of Naturalize kind of effects, so... yeah, they're going to hold off on that one until they can proper combo, I guess. Holds back a Glintnest Crane. Coward, I see. A coward. Alright, so... we can play a land drop, have 5 mana. We can play a Marwyn to pump the Marwyn up to 2. I don't want to just, like, Rishkar's Expertise for a tiny amount is the thing. I think what I'll do, even though I do somewhat fear losing, if it's like a Paradox Engine kind of deck, I could very well lose. I suppose I could do Finale X1. Because I've got the Turn Timber Symbiosis to find Endrez Forerunners anyway, and we can find another one of these copies. So let's just get a Llanowar Elves out of our deck, which pumps the Marwyn. And then let's play a Marwyn, Legend Rule it, and keep the big one. The one I want to keep. Alright, that should be sufficient to win the game. As long as we don't lose the game. We could obviously go for it and just see what we can do, but I don't know if you really have to. Typically with combo decks, you want to try and go off as late as possible, so that you have the best chance of winning, and that's definitely a good card that you want to see here. Okay, so I think we're winning. So we're going to go Blossoming Defense on Marwyn. Short of them having Unsummon there, I don't think it's really a problem. We're then going to tap, untap, and then... yeah, I guess we're going to tap again, because Rishkar's Expertise could reveal an untapper. So we're going to draw 6 cards. We did get an untapper. We also got another draw 6. But we can do better than that. Let's just do Sudden Spinnerets, untapping Marwyn. Yeah, we've won now. Let's see. From there, we'll play a Forest. We will untap Marwyn. Adventurous Impulse. See if we can find a Llanowar Elves. We did. It's 3 points after all. So now we're going to draw 9 cards. 11 cards. 11 mana left open. Sudden Spinnerets. Untap Marwyn. Tap Marwyn. Balaged Recovery. Grab Stony Strength. Blossoming Defense Marwyn. Stony Strength Marwyn, untapping her. 28 mana. From there we can draw 13 cards. Yep, seems good. Let's then... Stony Strength, untap Marwyn. Have we got enough to win here? Turn Timber. Can only get Llanowar Elves. I think we've got the damage here, right? So we go Endray's Foreigners. We didn't really find a Finale, which is kind of annoying. But we should be able to, yeah. Should be able to pump our creatures, I would imagine. They can only block 3 of this damage. So that's pretty good. What's that? 16, 19. And then 23 here. So yeah, lethal just on the swing. And then we've got another +1, another +1, a +2, another +2, and another +1. And we can even get a +1 with Marwyn there as well. There's a +1 here as well. So, yeah, we got plenty of pump to get past, but we almost, I guess, almost whiffed there. But not really, let's be fair. Not really. Okay then, we're in, and we've got all the tools we need to win. A Blossoming Defense would be nice just to make sure that we have that security on Marwyn. But in general, this is going to be okay. So we've got the Marwyn, the untap, and the card draw. A 3-card combo of sorts. Just got to be careful with dropping Marwyn into counter magic or Marwyn into burn spells. You want to play around all of those. Looks like we're playing against Marvel, so... yeah, Harness Lightning is a thing. Actually not going to kill my creature, though. Well, if they have Harness Lightning, again, they can kill Marwyn no matter what power she's at, and I can't really afford to wait for Blossoming Defense here, so I think I want to go for Marwyn the Nurturer. Opponent doesn't seem too interested in killing my creatures either, so... maybe they'll leave Marwyn alone. Will of Virtuoso. Okay. Is this enough to win the game, or do we have to wait? If we wait and our opponent has Marvel in their hand, we lose. So, let's... we're only drawing 3 with Return of the Wild Speaker, though. We're tapping for 1. Tap for 1, untap, tap for an extra 1. So the first one's getting paid for. I just don't know if we've got the mana for this. Should we just wait? Again, they could have Harness Lightning. I feel like we have to go for it. So, tap Marwyn, untap Marwyn. Tap Marwyn. Untap Marwyn. It's kind of a really sad Return of the Wild Speaker here, of course. But it's what we've got to go for. So, draw 3. Okay. Untap Marwyn. Yeah. This is not good enough. I think we're just dead. Library for an elf. Pump Marwyn. Play Marwyn. Keep tapped Marwyn. See what happens. Could just go for the old turn Timber into very lucky and raise Foreigners for the win, but I'm going to go ahead and hit the doubt button on that one. Alternatively, Rishkar's Expertise off the top is also kind of nice. Let's turn Timber. Oh my god, we actually hit it. Okay. Let the beatdown begin. Not really what I'd planned on, but here we are. This is the life we live now. I'll keep the finale just in case I can muster the mana for an X10. Khan the Great Creator. Looks like they put one of their marvels in their sideboard, which seems like an egregious error, judging by the fact that they haven't cast it upon me and won the game by now. Well, that's 3, 7, 8, 9. It's not really enough. However, we can force them to use some of their energy, I suppose. Which is what they need to pop off with Marvel next turn. I guess they don't really need to, because they're 1 point short. Good old math. Good old Aetherworks Marvel on turn 5. Here we go. Let's see what they hit. They need to win the game on the spot, and Ulamog doesn't do it, right? Unless they've got, like, land or an Ornithopter. Land 1-drop or an Ornithopter from Khan. Awaken. Tapped Marvel. Wow. Wow. That was an unbelievable whiff. But our opponent kind of shot themselves in the foot with their deck building restriction of Khan. I don't know if it's necessarily a good idea to do that. I mean, this is the first time I haven't been hit with Marvel on turn 4. And I've been playing most of the day with Kaladesh, so, you know. It's a thing, alright. But yeah, we won with Llanowar Elves. Get wrecked? I don't know. Okay, we're on the play. Our opponent with them Ugin sleeves probably means they're playing some sort of artifact-based deck. Usually your opponents pick their sleeves based on what they're doing. I'm no different. Got my mono-green sleeves, as it were. Alright, so we're going to go straight for an Adventurous Impulse here. Make sure that we either hit the 3rd land drop we need or a Llanowar Elves for next turn. Speaker of the Heavens. Alright, Ugin Sleeves do not match what our opponent is doing. Fair enough. Well, this is going to be an interesting one, for sure. If they gain too much life, that's the way we can lose. If they have Banishing Light effects in their deck, another way we could lose. So you could go with Llanowar Elves here, so that you could next turn do Marwyn with potential for Blossoming Defense open, but considering we don't have it right now, I think we're just going to go and play Marwyn and hope our opponent doesn't care about this card. We can produce a reasonable amount of mana if it gets left alone, which can't help but feel like it might. Marwyn's not a very good card. Most people will disrespect it. I'm not going to hover it because that might change my opponent's opinion on it. Herald's Horn. Well, they've got Human and Cleric. They're going to name Angel. Okay. Fair enough. And we have a Stony Strength. Okay. So, I can go Llanowar Elves. That makes Marwyn a 2-2, so automatically my Strengths and Spinnerets are generating mana. I don't know if it's worth going for now, though. We could do a Finale X1 and get another Llanowar Elf. I feel like that's worth doing. They're not going to Wrath me. They're probably just going to play an Angel next turn and then pass. I can generate 2, untap, have 1 open, then it's 3, so that's 4. Then tap for 4. Oh, God. The mana math on this deck is abysmal, by the way. If your brain explodes, untapping and tapping and untapping and trying to do the math that you'll have at the end, this might not be for you. It certainly does for me, so... I'm just wondering if we go for it. I think I'm going to say X1. Go to my library, go Llanowar Elves. So he pumps Marwyn, it gives us a bit of a better shot next turn of winning. And I don't really need the Finale necessarily, because I've got the Endrace Foreigners in my hand, and we can draw another one. Alright, so let's see what they've got here. They don't seem like a Wrath of God kind of deck, but it would absolutely wreck and loses the game, if that's where they want to go. Resplendent Angel, okay. So yeah, they're just committing. They've got 5 extra life there. They're gonna crack it now, okay, so that makes my job of doing math much easier. And then they can make a 4-4. Okay, so we might win. They've got a pretty decent blocking force, but I think that sudden Spinnerets means that we've got a pretty decent chance of doing this. So we're gonna tap, untap, tap, untap, tap. We could draw 5 or we could draw 6. I think the mana that we have remaining is enough that a draw 6 is better. Draw cards equal to the greatest power. Ooh, we came so close to whiffing there, but we didn't. So, tap. And I think this is a draw 7 here. Need to find that Finale of Devastation, I think. Balaged Recovery is that exact card. So now we go Blossoming Defense on Marwyn. Untap Marwyn. Untap Marwyn. Balaged Recovery. Grab Finale of Devastation. We're currently being Yorgoed. Hang on. Ah. Let's see, how much mana is that? 17. We do need to put Hendra's Forerunners into play though, don't we? Okay, so this allows me to then X10. I guess it actually works out better if you just tap Marwyn, right? And then do an X22. Yeah, that seems much better. Search my library for a Llanowar Elves. Give our opponent the old pink kiss. And then swing for lethal. Minus 73. I love this deck. It's so good. When I say so good, I don't mean competitive. I want to stress that very strongly. It's so good in I love the playstyle, and it catches people off guard, and it does it relatively early into the game. That's what I do love about this deck. But yes, don't ever take this to a tournament, unless you're memeing. If you're memeing, go right ahead. It's a strong one. But yeah, let's go for another game. Okay then, we're in. The only thing we're lacking is untappers. So yeah, we're going to give this one a shot. Untappers are kind of the thing that we can draw an abundance of and really hate our lives. Speaking of hating our lives, we're up against rogues. So it's likely nothing ever resolves or survives. I'm just going to put the tapped Balaged Recover, I think, into play. Not sure if that's necessarily the correct thing to do. Might need to return things to our hand if they get milled over, but somewhat doubtful of that considering the current state of our hands. Do you actually hold up and Blossoming Defense here? I suppose you do. I suppose you do. Merfolk Windrobber enters with a counter, and then they get to do some more milling. Because they don't have counter magic open right now. But they do have removal. So I'm somewhat interested in removing or protecting my Llanowar Elves, because then I've got Marwyn plus Blossoming Defense open next turn. Kind of wish it hadn't have tapped the way it did. Would much prefer the security of a forest rather than a Llanowar Elves. Okay, so they're getting in for 4. They've got 2 cards remaining. I don't have any untaps. That's kind of really unfortunate. They just get a land for this. That's fine. Oh, they do make me discard, but I've got Llanowar Elves and Adventurous Impulse to discard anyway, so it's not too bad. They'll make me discard first as well. Oh, they've already picked the forest, actually. Never mind. Didn't need that card, so that's good. Let's get rid of Adventurous Impulse. Let's get rid of Llanowar Elves. Opponent gets a forest, and they shouldn't be able to do anything with that. Alright, untapper. Okay. Well, this is going to be a very, very sketchy run of luck. Let's see if we can do this. So we're going to draw 3 cards. They need to be really good. They're really bad. Alright, we lose. Okay, Lurus. Hi, it's been a while. Sarcasm. I'm gonna keep this hand. It's got turn 1 Adventurous Impulse, looking for Marwyn. Got untaps. Look at that. Good stuff. We got untaps. We got protection. We hope that it's not red-black. Stitcher's Supplier. It's red-black. Hey, I asked not for that, actually. Game. Alright, so we're going to turn 4 Marwyn, because we'll need to hold up in the Blossoming Defense. If our opponent just plays Priest of the Forgotten Gods, then it's a complete waste of time playing the game any further. Claim, make a 5/5. Okay. Our opponent's ability to make me sacrifice Marwyn is basically GG. So we don't want to run it into Claim the Firstborn. We don't want to run it into sack Fable Passage Fatal Push. Nothing of that sort. So the only way we can do that is by waiting until turn 4. We can go for a Finale X1 here, which is totally fine. Search your library, put a Llanowar Elves into play, just gives our opponent something interesting to do. So they can sack it in Village Rites or something naughty like that. If they don't do that, then we get protection from Priest of the Forgotten Gods. But I've never seen them not have Claim the Firstborn into Village Rites. It's just, it's not a thing. Yep, there you go. You just assume they always have it, because they always do. Okay, so we play Marwyn. If our opponent plays this incorrectly, they will lose. If they leave my Marwyn alone, then I could win. Double removal spell will lose me the game. Ah. No. Okay, so we take 5. I do need a little bit more than what I have right here. Is Sudden Spinnerets a little bit more than what I have right now? Possibly. We don't really have a choice, so we're just going to tap and untap, tap and untap, tap and untap. You need to draw at least 4 cards. And that's not good enough. Oof. Okay, on the play, no Marwyn, nowhere to find her, and no card draw. This is an easy mull. Card draw, Marwyn, pump spell, ramp. This is a good hand. This is a good hand. So what does it need? In the time that we are waiting to play Marwyn, it needs to draw untap effects. Preferably something like Gift of Growth. We're going to go down a land here since we have turn 1 Llanowar Elves. That's our 3 mana right there. Ajani's Welcome. Alright, so this is one of those matchups where you can go straight into the Marwyn. Whether we use the Marwyn is to be determined, but at least we have it down now. Llanowar Elves are just a random pump, things like that. Turn Timber Symbiosis. Okay, so we're just going to go land and say go here. We'll bide our time until we have reasonable amount of power on board with Marwyn. I should be able to take the Hallowed Priest's damage. No attacks is very strange. Okay. We're just going to Symbiosis tapped and pass. And what our opponent is afraid of, I guess they assume that I might be able to pump spell Marwyn here. This hand with 1 untap is sufficient to win. Another Resplendent Angel. Changes nothing about that. So they can at least get in with the Resplendent Angel. Not sure what they're afraid of, though, other than that. Untap. Oh, baby. Okay, so... Blossoming Defense, Marwyn. Blossoming Defense Marwyn. Tap Marwyn. Untap Marwyn. Tap Marwyn. Rishkar's Expertise. Oh, baby, we've done it. Untap Marwyn. Pump Marwyn. Adventurous Impulse, looking for Llanowar Elves. Didn't find it, but we did thin the deck, which is good enough for a Rishkar's Expertise anyway. Forests are a reasonable target. So we're going to Rishkar's Expertise again, drawing 9. Well, at the very least, we drew mostly what we needed here. We're going to go with a Return of the Wild Speaker, drawing cards equal to the greatest number of creatures. So let's draw another 9. And that should seal the deal. Okay, from here, we're going to untap Marwyn and generate some more mana. Let's play Llanowar Elves. Llanowar Elves. We got 25 cards left. Let's draw 12 of those. Rishkar's Expertise. We could draw another 12. Right? Yeah, we want to draw another 12. That sounds about right. Actually, what we could do... Yeah, we want to draw another 12. Let's draw all 12. So we got 1 card left in our deck. Should have everything we need at this point. We got the Endra's Foreigners. We got the Finale. So we're gonna Stony Strength Marwyn. Tap Marwyn. Oop. Gift of Growth Marwyn. I'm going for maximum damage, by the way. Mostly maximum. I will probably just, like, press random buttons on occasion. Tap you for extra mana. Tap you Ornamental Courage. Tap you Gift of Growth you. Tap you Gift of Growth you. 69 green mana. I'm gonna have to upset that a little bit, but tap you. Untap you. Tap you. Untap you. Tap you. That looks like it, actually. So let's untap you. Let's give... Oh, no. Let's... Yeah, let's give +3/+3. Is that... No, that's not actually worth it. Let's... Finale of Devastation after we put... Endra's Foreigners into play. There we go. And then X 146 on Finale of Devastation. Boop. And boop. Search my library. It's an Ornamental Courage. Yep, and search. And then we get swinging. Sweet! I'll, since our opponent didn't let us swing out there, I'll put final life totals on screen for that amount of damage right there. But yeah, we drew our own deck in a mono green deck. So that's cool. Yeah, that's gonna do it for today's video, I think. Hopefully you've enjoyed. If you have, then make sure to hit the like button and subscribe as well. It helps out the channel a great deal. Lets me know that you guys want to see more of this particular series and of this nonsense. It's been an absolute pleasure, chat. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.